Good afternoon, YouTube. I got another recipe for you. Now, today we are going to do chicken, rice, and carrots vichy, or glazed carrots. That's what some people call it. Fancy dancy is carrots vichy if you get them in a restaurant. So I went and got an inexpensive cut of meat, which is a chicken quarter. And I wanted to show you how to separate these so that you don't have to buy chicken legs and then chicken thighs. So you're going to see a joint here, right? So what I do is I hold it like this, right? And I cut down where I think the joint is. Now I go to the bottom and I cut the bottom at the joint. And I go around the joint until I can see it. Now the joint is going to be the white part. It's like a gristle that's in there. So bone is going to be red and the joint is going to be white. See that? That's the joint. So you're going to move your way down until you get past the joint and you're going to hit the meat. You see that? I went all the way through the joint and through the meat. And then I'm going to go on the bottom of this, right? Like this. And I'm going to cut it away from me, of course. And I'm going to get through that. My knife is not sharp enough. So now I have a leg and I have a thigh. Okay? I'm going to do this to the rest of them and then I'll be right back. All right, my chicken is all cut up. I have my thighs and I have my legs in this pan. So this is not something I learned in school, but this is something my family always did. First of all, I got to rewash my hands because I just touched the chicken. You don't want to cross-contaminate anything. So here's my knife. That's going in the sink. I don't need it anymore, and I need to wash my hands just a moment. Now, of all things, chicken is the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous foods you can work with. It can cause you to get extremely sick. So make sure you wash your hands before you touch anything, and certainly don't put your hands in your mouth after you cut up a bunch of chicken. So in my family, we always wash the chicken. And by washing the chicken, I mean we put some water in there, just enough to cover it. And then we got some lemon juice or some vinegar. And with the lemon juice, I just pour it in there until the water becomes cloudy. Okay? We call this washing the chicken. A lot of people say it's not necessary, but I was taught this way as a child. And this is the way that we did it. And I never, ever got any food poisoning until I started eating from other people. So let me show you what this looks like. The chicken is soaking in the lemon juice. You want to leave this on here for about 5 minutes, okay? While we're doing that, let's talk about our rice. So rice, I'm trying to get my thing right. How did I have it? Okay, so rice, I prefer parboiled rice. Okay, parboiled rice just means pre-boiled rice. And I like this rice because the grains stay separated when you cook it. Rice is really simple to cook. And I didn't realize how easy it was to cook until I went to school. And there was something they did that was totally different from the way we did it at home. So what they did was, first of all, we washed the rice, right? And I'll show you that in a minute. Which means you take the rice, you put it in a bowl, and you keep on stirring it with your hand until stirring it with your hand in water. Pour the water out and keep doing that until the water becomes clear. So we're going to do that. But they taught me at school how to cook rice. First on the stovetop, bring it to a boil, and then put it in the oven for 15 minutes. The rice is always perfect. Always. Another thing with rice is some people say it's a 2-to-1 ratio. I don't agree with that. So if you have 1 cup of rice, you would have 2 parts water, 2 cups of water. What I do is a little bit less because I like my rice grainy and I don't want it mushy, like sticky rice. So I do a little bit less, like 1 cup of rice to 1 7/8 cups of water. All right. So just less than 2 cups of water if you want your rice to be separated. The more water you put in the rice when you're cooking it, especially since you're going to wash it, it's already going to be wet. The stickier it's going to be. So the more water, the stickier it's going to be. I do not like sticky rice. I do not like mushy rice. It's horrible to me. I just don't like it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. The first thing you want to do prior to touching anything again is wash your hands. I just touched that chicken, right? So I'm going to get some soap and wash my hands. And I like to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb, or I've been working on the railroad just long enough to know that I have gotten all of that off. All of the stuff. Don't forget the back of your hands. Wash it in between. Make sure you get all of that stuff out. Okay? We're just doing the best we can not to get anything in the rice while you're mixing it, because you're going to do it with your hands, okay? So I'm going to get 1 cup of rice. And by the way, I have the chicken over here soaking in the lemon juice. So I am going to cook 1 cup of rice. And I'm going to use just under 2 cups of water. So here's my measuring cup. I'll pour 1 cup of rice in here. I have a thing in here. Might have a little bit more. And you don't have to be precise. And by washing the rice, it means you're going to put water in there. Move it around. Some rice, the water will be cloudier than others. Now look in there. That is cloudy. See that? I do not want cloudy rice. See that? We're going to wash it until that clears up. It may take 3-4 times. You take your hand, you spin it around. The more you spin it around, the more debris is going to come up off your rice. See that? You don't want to use that. Now, one of the reasons why I always wash my rice is, first of all, my family did it. And second of all, I went to Korea and I found out that they were drying the rice on the side of the road. So the road where you, on the shoulder of the road, they were drying the rice out on the road. So we want to get as much as we can out of there, okay? Years ago, you could find some rocks in your rice, but that's not happening anymore. They're very careful nowadays. But yeah, we were driving along on the bus and all the pollution, and the rice was on the side of the road drying out. Because rice is a plant that grows in like, not swampy water, but like it's a wet crop. And in order for them to dry it out, that's what they did. They put it on the roadway and on the shoulder. So anyway, that was an eye-opener for me. So I'm going to wash it a couple of times until I see as clear as you can't, maybe you can't get it all the way clear, but I certainly don't want a bunch of cloudiness in the water. Okay? Keep on dumping it out. You don't need a strain or anything. You just be super careful about how you drain it out. Rice will stick to the pot anyway, so it's not gonna be hard to keep it in the pot. It doesn't float. It sinks to the bottom, okay? Still cloudy. Always, another thing about rice is that there's arsenic in rice. And the more you wash it, the more arsenic comes off the rice. I just recently found out about that. That was another eye-opener for me. And I was like, I thought my family was just being mean. They was always telling me, wash the rice, wash the rice. And I was like, I don't really want to do that, but there was good reason for everything. Your elders know what they're talking about. They may not know the reason why, but There is a reason, and eventually when you get older, you start finding out little things that you didn't know when you were younger. So I washed this rice, and it's right. It's good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pot. And if you have one, use a thicker pot. The thicker the pot, the less scorched it's going to be. Excuse me, I have a bunch of pots, okay? You want a pot and you want a lid. And if you don't have a lid, get some foil. So I have my pot here, right? And I am going to scoot my rice into there. You could wash it. I could have washed it in this pot, but I like to have a bigger pot, and this is not a lot of rice. It's going to make about 2 cups of rice. So I'm just getting all of my rice grains out of here. And in order to get the rest of the grains out, I'm going to take the water that I'm going to put in the pot to cook it. So I'm going to get my cup. And there's 1 cup. And this one is just going to be under 1 cup. Okay? It's more like 3/4 of a cup. Okay? Our rice is already wet because we washed it. So you're going to use a little bit less. I'm getting all the rice granules up. Pour that in there. Get all the rice out. Put that in the dish to wash. Then we want to get a piece of butter. And you want about a teaspoon of butter, if not more. The more you put in the more butter you put in there, the greasier it's going to be. So keep that in mind when you're putting butter in there. So butter is always marked by the tablespoon, right? You see that? So if you don't know what to do, you know that there are 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. So we're just going to cut a little slice off of here. There's no precise measurement for this. And then the next ingredient will be some salt. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of butter and everything. I'm doing everything in the sink. I'm going to cut off a little bit of butter, put it in the pot. Just go to the dishwasher. And then I'm going to get some salt. I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt. So here's this thing. Always put salt in there. This is unsalted butter, or unsweetened and unsalted butter. It's just regular butter. There's nothing in it. So I'm going to put a teaspoon in there. Dump it in there, right? All right. So now we're going to go to the stove. Just a minute. Hello, everybody, and I'm back. So, excuse my frying pans and all the rest of my stuff. I'm going to go over here, and we have our pot. It's not the prettiest pot, but it's my pot. All right, I use it a lot. So you're going to turn your flame, or you're going to turn your stove on high. What we want to do is get this to a boil. Also, while you're here, preheat your oven to 350. Okay? So what we're going to do is bring this to a boil, and then we're going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes covered with a piece of foil. You poke little holes in the top so it doesn't spill over into your stove, and that's going to be the rice. So I'll bring it back to this when it starts to boil. Meanwhile, I have my chicken over here. So the chicken is ready. I'm sorry, that's what I clean up with. Awesome. The chicken is ready, so I'm going to take this water and throw it in the sink. Okay, I'll be right back. And I'm going to wash it off one more time. Put some more water on it from the sink. Not too worried about it being filtered water because this is going to go into the oven. Okay, I covered it with water again and I'm dumping it again. Get as much water out of this pan as possible because your seasons will not stick. We're not doing boiled chicken, we're doing baked chicken. So pour this water out. Okay, and I'm back. I'm back with the chicken, all right? So let me wash, well, yeah, let me wash my hands because I got to touch the seasoning. And I'm going to pull a little stool up. Okay. So we have here, I'm making lemon pepper chicken. I didn't tell you guys that, but I always use McCormick or you can use any brand, as long as it says lemon pepper, right? I learned this from one of my coworkers. It was delicious. I used to beg her to make this, right? And the other thing I use is garlic. I like lemon pepper garlic wings. I'm not going to say what restaurant, but some people know, and they sell that. And then salt. So I have about a tablespoon of salt in here. And I am going to get my measuring spoons. And I'm going to do about a teaspoon of garlic. There we are, my garlic. Put that in there. And with this is the star of the show, right? So you want to use more of it. That was a half a teaspoon of regular This is a teaspoon of lemon pepper. And I am going to do a heaping teaspoon, right? Got my regular teaspoon here. I'm going to mix it all together. So we got our salt, our garlic, our lemon pepper, and the way you know that your seasoning is correct is by tasting it. So I got it all mixed up, right? Do not just use lemon pepper. Make sure that you put some salt in there because it's not going to taste right. Trust me, I've done it. All right, so I'm put a little bit in my hand. And I need some more lemon pepper. It's more salty than lemon pepper. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take another teaspoon. Same teaspoon I used for the lemon pepper. I'm going to put another half teaspoon in there. And I'm going to mix it up. Now, can you hear it? That is the sound of the rice boiling. Okay, so I have it boiling now. And I'm going to turn that off. Move this to the side. I'm going to get a piece of foil paper. Be careful because this pot is hot. I'm going to cover it. Get my mitts that I've had for like 15 years. They're all snagged up. They're well used and I love them. I can't find anything as thick as this anymore. So I'm going to cover it, right? Take a fork. Pop some holes in here, not a lot. I'll show you in just a second. Make sure it's sealed. You're just venting it so that some of the steam can escape, but not all of it. So here we are. It has holes in it. Can you see that? All right. And my oven is at 350. It's already at 350. It's already preheated. I'm going to take this pot and I'm going to put it in my oven. Go to my timer, set it for 15 minutes. Okay, it started. Back to the seasoning. You got to be multitask. The carrots will be last. They're real easy. So here we are mixing our seasoning. Let's drop a little bit in our hand. Make sure it's not clumped up. Drop a little bit in our hand. And when I drop in my hand, I do not touch the palm of my hand. A little bit more. I need a little bit more lemon pepper. Then I think I'm done. So I'm gonna put one more half teaspoon. So that was about two teaspoons in total. Okay, we got that all mixed up. Let me do one last taste. I'm sure it's perfect now. Yep. Wash my hands. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the chicken. Take that off. And what I do with the chicken is I try to get the season under the skin. So I'm gonna take my teaspoon, and I'll put it under the skin and on the back side of the skin, and I'm gonna rub it in. Be liberal with this. Do not get stingy with the season. Do not. You'll be sorry. Make sure you can see it. I'm gonna sit back down so you all can see me. Do not be stingy. Make sure every piece is coated. And I go under the skin and I put some more in there. I want it under and over. I want it everywhere on this chicken. I want it in there. It's already got some lemon flavor on it because I soaked it in lemon for a while. This is really good, trust me. Man, I used to beg her. And then I said, okay, how do you do it? And she told me some of the secrets. I had to find the rest out by myself, my trial and error. Should have stayed in the kitchen and watched her when she was cooking it. That's the only way you lose. You learn sometimes. Some people don't want you to steal their recipes, so they'll just tell you part of it. Then you have to find out on your own. But if you don't tell them that you're trying to do it, and they don't know that you're watching them to learn, and you're just sitting there talking, you'll see what they're doing. Then you don't have to ask them. Okay, I'm putting it in there, making sure I got this. I'm running out of seasoning. I have 3 more pieces. And do another one. Wash my hands again. Did I use this? I don't think I used this hand for chicken. Okay, so I'm gonna get some more. I'm gonna take my chicken hand and be careful. Get some more lemon pepper. Let's do a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of garlic. Where's my salt? Half a teaspoon of salt. Being lazy, can you tell? Trying to keep my chicken hand like it's looking like it's broken or something. Mix that back up. I'm gonna do a little bit at the start of the show. Make sure that I got enough. Get another half teaspoon. That's not a half. A heaping half teaspoon of the lemon pepper. Put it in there. Mix it up. Okay, let's go back to our chicken. Put it under the skin. See, I'm putting it under there. Move this out of the way so you can see. Putting the season under the skin, and then I go to the back end. You want to season both sides. Cover it up. And I put a little bit on the top. And 2 more legs to go. Season around it. And then season over it. Season over it. Losing my English. Forgetting my English, and that's the only language I speak. Put some seasoning in the wing, on the meat, and then I put it on the skin also. Okay. And I have a little bit left. And I look for somebody who looks like they don't have enough, and I drizzle some more on there. Everybody needs to get some love. Everybody. Everybody needs love. Okay. So while the rice is cooking, I'm going to get down in there and get that piece. While the rice is cooking, I'm going to let this chicken rest so it can soak in some of this seasoning. You want it to get into your meat. So I'm going to let it sit there until my rice is done. And the rice is only going to take 15 minutes. Right now it's only going to take 7 more minutes. So I'll let this sit out on the stove until the rice is done. Let me wash my hands so I can show you what it looks like. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm back. Y'all miss me? You miss me? All right, here you go. So here's the chicken, and you can see it's seasoned. Let me give you a little bit of light. Just a minute. Let me turn these lights on. I'm working in the dark. It's a cloudy day here in Texas. It's usually really, really sunny. Not today. Not today. It is cloudy. Cloudy. I like any day, but I especially like sunny days. So there we go. Okay, my rice is done. My alarm is going off. I'm going to turn the timer off. Open the oven. Pull my pot out. Do not touch your pot handle. And if you have a plastic pot, you can't do this. You need to put it in another dish that has something that can hold heat. At least 350, 400 degrees of heat. This is a metal pot, so I can do that, okay? Move my chicken out the way. So you see the rice. We want to stop the cooking process. In order to do that, you have to take your foil off. You're going to see all the steam come out. And then you're going to fluff your rice. Let me show you what it looks like. Yes, let me show you. So there's your rice. All right. And this is why I like parboiled rice, because look, you see that? They're not sticking together. They're nice and loose. Forgive my finger or my hand. You see that? Trying to hold my iPad and do this at the same time. They are not stuck together. I do not like sticky rice unless it's supposed to be sticky rice. Okay, so we're back to the chicken. So the chicken has been resting for a little while. And it's time to put that in the oven. So chicken has to be cooked to an internal temperature of 165. Chicken, I told you, was one of the most dangerous meats that you could possibly deal with. You do not ever, excuse me, I gotta fix my shirt. You do not ever want to eat raw chicken. If you get it at a restaurant and you bite into it and it seems raw, tell them to take it back. It can kill you, okay? Just being serious with you, because I had a coworker who got some raw chicken. He was going to eat it because he didn't want to complain, and he may have gotten sick. Okay, you always want your chicken to be cooked. So I found that the easiest way to ensure my chicken is cooked, and if you don't have the thermometer, and if you're doing chicken legs and thighs, I take it 350 again, same oven. Oh, forgot something. With this chicken, you want to cover it initially with some foil. What we want to do is crack all the juices and all the herbs in here, kind of like steaming it. And you're going to keep this foil on it until you can smell it. Chicken, you can smell it in your house when it starts to cook. So once you start to smell chicken in your house, we're going to take this foil off. So I'm going to put this in the oven. And I am going to set my timer after I put it in the oven. I'm going to set my timer for 91 minutes, okay? The only reason why I'm doing 91 minutes is because we're going to have to take the foil off. If you're doing chicken and you don't have to take it out and do anything to it, just do it for 90 minutes. If it's not lemon chicken and you just want to just broil some chicken, leave it uncovered and do it for 90 minutes. So it's with chicken thighs and chicken legs, okay? This is just foolproof. So we're going to start the timer for 91 minutes. I'll be back when I start smelling chicken aroma in my house. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this foil off, stick it back in the oven, and continue with the 90-minute timer, okay? See you in a minute. Guess what I smell? Chicken. Lemon chicken. So I'm going to get it out of the oven. I'm going to take this foil off. Well, not out of the oven. Well, let me let you see it. So I'm going to take it out of the oven. I'm going to take this foil off. We've got about 45 minutes left on the timer. And you're going to look at this chicken. You're going to say, ooh, it looks like it's boiled. It has no color. You're going to see a couple pepper flakes, and that's about it. The foil has protected it from getting a suntan. And we want it to have a tan. You see how pale this chicken is? Huh? You see that? We're going to fix that. Make sure you get a good look. We need to brown that. You need to get it nice and golden brown and crispy. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to put my hand, move my stuff around. Who's moving this around? I'm the only one in the kitchen. It must be me. So I'm going to take this, put it back into the oven. Same temperature. Don't change a thing. And your timer's still going. We got 44 minutes left on the timer. So it took me about a minute to do that. And I've been talking to you. So it'll take you even less. Just want to take it out. Get this foil off. And that's it. Put it back in the oven. I'll see you in a minute. Well, I'll see you in 44 minutes when this thing is done. I'll be back before then because I got to do those carrots with you. So just wait a minute. All right, I'll be back. So on to the carrots vichy, or AKA the carrots, the glazed carrots. That's just the normal name for it. Carrots vichy is just a, super chef name. All right, so I put some water, some carrots in here. I have 8 ounces of carrots in here, and I have them just covered in water. I'm gonna put them on the stove, and I'm gonna put it on high because I wanna bring this thing to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna let it boil for about, I turn the fire down, and I'm gonna let it boil for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna check to see if I can stick a fork in it and it goes through to somewhat, not just all the way through. We don't want mushy carrots. That's why we're going to check in 5 minutes to see how done they are. And when they get to that point, I'll bring you back. The carrots are boiling, and now you can stick your fork through the carrot. I want to turn this thing off. I want to stop the cooking process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shock them. Shock them means that you're going to stick them in some cold water to stop the cooking process because we do not want mushy carrots. Time is of the essence, okay? Get some ice. Get some, well, I don't need any water. I'm going to use the water that's in here. I'm going to pour these carrots into this ice. Just shock it and stop. Make it stop. Make it stop. All right. My carrots are cooked, and this ice is stopping. It's taking the heat away, okay? So I have drained off the water of these carrots. They're cold right now, but that's fine. We're going to heat them back up. So the other ingredients I have is we're going to use a dash of salt. Move this out of the way. A tablespoon of butter. A tablespoon of packed brown sugar. And then a dash of black pepper. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do here is I need to start melting my butter. And I don't want it too high because we do not want to burn the butter. I'm going to put my sugar in because I want my sugar to melt. I'm going to use one of these, a fork, to mix this together. And all you're doing is developing a syrup. I'm gonna do a little itty bitty bit. Put this in my hand. A little dash of white pepper. A little bit of salt. I'm gonna do less than that. Just a little bit of salt. The rest I can throw in the sink. Trying to get my butter. Then you take your carrots, you put them back into the pan, and you get this thing coated. You get your carrots coated. This is just glazed carrots. Carrots vichy, you would cut them into slices, and you do the same thing. And turn this up a little bit. Get some of the moisture off of these carrots. We want them well coated. They're supposed to be glistening. Glistening. Turn that up a little bit. I got 4 minutes left on my chicken. My rice is done. And I'm going to reduce this. Make sure this syrup is everywhere and that it's not watery. It's a little bit too watery for me right now, so I'm trying to reduce it down while I'm heating the carrots back up. Okay? We don't want to cook the carrots anymore, but we want them to be warm. We don't want cold carrots. Because I shocked it, we have to heat them back up more. So I'm going to keep stirring it. Try to get this stuff reduced. I got 3 minutes on my chicken. Let me go get a plate. So there is a thing called plating, and everyone in the industry knows that people eat with their eyes first. They say the difference between a 1-star and a 5-star is the plating, how it looks on a plate. So you try to make your food look as pretty as possible. And that's mainly the reason why a lot of them use white plates. Now this plate is cold. Normally in a restaurant you would stick your plates in the oven and warm your plate up because you don't put your food on a cold plate or a room temperature plate. But we're at home right now, so that is okay. I don't mind not having a warm plate. I'm still reducing. Let me let y'all take a look. All of the sugar has melted, and I am bringing the sauce down. You see that? It's starting to sizzle, which means there's very little water in there. You want to make sure that you do not burn it. You just want to keep it on the carrots, and in order to do that, you got to reduce it very carefully. Bring your if you're not well versed in this, just turn your flame down and leave it on medium until you can get the water out of this. All you want to do is put a little bit of sweetness on these carrots. And I can smell the chicken. It smells so good. Let's go, carrots. Let's go. It's like stir frying, except it's not. I enjoy cooking. I do. As long as it's done well. Okay, we're going to start plating. So have you ever seen where they have your rice and they have it like in these little bitty well-formed cups? Normally they use, they say do a half a cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, right? I don't think this rice is going to stay because it's not sticky rice. But you want to do it, you get a ramekin and you put your rice in there, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to mush it down as much as possible. You want it to stick together, even though it's not sticky rice. You're going to take your plate, you're going to turn it upside down, flip it. There you go. There's your rice. See how pretty that is? And uniformed. If you want a bigger one, you do a ramekin. Normally they say at restaurants that you do not want to make people full. You just want them to feel comfortable so they won't become tired. Because if you eat too much, you just feel sleepy and sluggish. My carrots are ready. My chicken is ready. See all that steam coming out of it? Woo! Wee! Here we go. Move all this out of the way. Get my gloves. Got rice on my hand that doesn't want to leave my hand. I don't like mess. The military in me, I do not like mess. All right. And your chicken is like a golden brown. You can take a thermometer and check for an internal temperature of 165. I'm going to do it just for GP, just to show you guys that doing it for 90 minutes it might take it above 165, but as long as it's 165 or above, you're good to go. You can tell by just putting something in it that it's going up. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that to you guys. So you see the thermostat is moving. It's past 160, right? And look at our chicken, how pretty it is. You see that? Very pretty. I don't mind eating that at all. It doesn't look all white and untanned like it was before. So I'm taking my thermometer out. 90 minutes, your chicken is gonna be done. No problem. And I'm gonna take, I don't want thigh. Nah, I'll do a thigh. Ooh, I almost lost it. Take my thigh. And then I'm gonna get my carrots vichy. Where's a spoon? Which is just glazed carrots. You don't have to glaze your carrots. Some people don't like sugar, so don't do it. And get a little bit of pepper. It's not a pretty plate, it's not an ugly plate, but it's a plate. Now, another thing with plating is that we wipe it down, okay? So we wipe our plate down and make sure everything is in place. So I have a little paper towel here, and this is called plating. You want your plate as clean as possible. You don't want anything out of place. You don't want anybody to say, what is that? What is that? Okay, here we are. It's a basic recipe for someone who wants to lose weight. You're not going to have too much rice. That's less than a half of a cup. Or approximately, I should say it's approximately half a cup. There's your carrots vichy. If you don't want the sugar, do not put any sugar on there. That'll cut the calories. Baked chicken. If you want to cut the calories, take the skin off. And that is it. That's my plate. I know this is not the best plate that there is, but if you're on a health journey, you need to start baking your chicken instead of frying it. It's better for you. If you don't want the oil, you put your chicken up on a rack so that the oil can drain down. There's not that much oil in this chicken. I pulled all the fat off before I started doing this. And then you want to reduce your carbs. So you want to reduce carbs and your sugar. So you have just a little bit of carbs, mostly protein, and some vegetables. This is Jamaica. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something about cooking rice, about baking chicken, and about carrots. You all take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.